feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Bet. All right. How y'all doing? A lot of things to get to today. Obviously, we were waiting on some updates. Let me make sure my audio is all the way perfect. Waiting on some updates on what's going on with this little Dirk case. We know there's constant updates when it comes to feels like criminal cases in general. There was closing statements given today by the YSL attorneys. If you guys care about that case still, I know Young Thug's off of it, but there are a few people still on it, including Yak Gotti. He's, I believe, is his name Shannon Stillwell? That's his name? Yeah, well, he's still facing murder. And that will be going to a jury verdict, and his murder and RICO charge will be going there. So they're doing closing arguments now. I don't know if they finished today, but I know it was slated for them to start today. So we'll give you an update on that. Again, there's a bunch of stuff Diddy wise. I'm a little even fatigued with that. We're waiting to see if he's gonna get bail. It's looking good, even though today he actually suffered a slight blow. We don't know if he'll get bailed because of some of the arguments. The prosecutors realized they dropped the ball in court. They came back with some additional responses that actually made some decent arguments. So we'll see if that affects it and if Diddy doesn't get bond. Because if you ask me, I think it was in his favor to get bond before. What else is going on? Kendrick did drop a new album. GNX is out. It's appearing, and I'm kind of monitoring the streams. Looks like, early reports said about 240. If you ask me, he's going to end up doing like 350. Okay, 350 to 400, if you ask me. It's all about the consistency of sales. I also seen something that popped up today. Let me see. Go to Instagram.com. Kendrick Lamar. If we go there, blah, 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 blah. You click here. Okay, well, this is the important part there, but where else could... Wait, give me 1 second. Hold on. Where the fuck? My phone is... Give me 1 second. For some reason, I've seen vinyls pop up somewhere. Now, I keep telling y'all, anytime y'all see these rappers sell a lot, the vinyls is there, okay? I'm not personally mad at it. I like it. I actually encourage all hip-hop artists start selling the product again. There was a time we were selling the product, which was CDs, cassette tapes, and then everybody, and obviously vinyls, and people said, now it's all about streaming, even downloads. People used to buy digital MP3s, then people stopped, and it was all about streaming. Now, the only people really doing huge numbers, they're selling vinyls. There's a lot of rules related to Billboard with vinyls, but somebody did tell me that GNX vinyl, let me see, is there a vinyl? Okay, so he rolled out a physical pre-order. Okay, so that shouldn't count for the first week. But I know a lot of people like y'all probably do care about his first week sales. Let me see, where are his, oh, here we go. So they're going to be shipping March 1st. Whoa. Wait. Chat. I can see the play already. Most music industry people can see the play. If you buy the vinyls for Kendrick, I keep saying this is not the full thing. Whatever y'all are getting now, it's like it's an odd thing. If y'all buy the vinyl, it's shipping March 1st. Let me tell you how vinyls work, right? This is the reason why hip-hop artists don't have vinyls, usually in their bundles. This is why Taylor Swift sells 3 million records first week, like, without batting an eye. Drake is still the top-selling artist in hip-hop, but he doesn't do vinyls. The problem with vinyls, you got to get them pressed up, usually sometime at least 3 months in advance. Any hip-hop album that gets turned into a plant 3 months in advance get leaked. Drake, Kendrick, they're going to get leaked, right? For the most part. So what they usually do is they don't do the vinyl. They usually do vinyl deluxes because people have less interest in a deluxe than your very first project. So, but here's the thing. The way how Billboard changed their rules for vinyls only count, you have to have shipped the vinyls out in that week. So what used to happen, and shout out to Nav and all these people, they would just take mad orders. And then 2 years later, you never got your V-Lone t-shirt. So everybody's like, yo, I ordered V-Lone. I ain't know fuck the album. I wanted V-Lone. You ain't getting the shit for 2 years. You get what I'm saying? So Billboard realized that was a finesse. Okay, niggas is just copping shirts and calling it albums, which, by the way, again, I have an amended theory on that. I think that fans should be rewarded for spending money, even if, music doesn't feel like anything. A movie ticket, at least you bought a ticket, you went to have an experience. People look at it's a devaluation of music. So I don't have a problem with bundles. I love bundles, actually. But there's so much finesses. Obviously, I think Travis Scott is like, he's a top tier dude at it right now. I'm not, let me bring it back. It's not a finesse. He knows how to work the system. Okay? Like, for example, Travis Scott will do $250,000, not $250,000 in sales. $250,000 in streams, right? So $250,000 streams equivalent units, which means a lot more than $250,000, but it turns into $250,000 first week, but then he'll sell $250,000 product. So he does $500K. That's his finesse, right? Every time he comes out, he does $500K. He sells more than Drake, but he don't sell more than Drake. You get what I'm saying? Drake comes out, and that's what I've always told y'all. Drake, one of the, I personally, and that's my guy, I talk to him all the time, love him, but lazy, okay? How you the biggest artist, but presentation's lacking? Yeah, stream-wise, you'll do $400K, which is obviously more than Travis Scott doing $250K, right? But, bro, where are the vinyls? Where are all these other things? You have the biggest fan base. Why not monetize it, okay? Now, there's a lot that we're going to unpack during the stream, and this is probably the reason why I went on Twitter, just to really give a all, because people might, and I know Twitter's a bunch of haters that usually watch me, but they could hate watch me. Like right now, look, I'm on Twitter right now, 120,000 people done click this link. Who gives a fuck? But here's the thing. The important thing is to kind of give some of the education around some of the music shit we talk about. And the thing is, we're going to now explore what, again, and I want to be very open and honest. Me and Drake haven't had no conversation about this. And I understand why he wouldn't have no conversation with me or no one else. This is his business, okay? Drake, he told you his damn self, had a $400 million deal with Universal Music Group. I could have told you that, I seen him rush all them projects, did a bunch of tours. And I said, something, okay. He's doing back to back. But once the beef and stuff happened and some of his movements, I could tell you, for me, I know that's renegotiation time, right? 100 gigs, I'm like, that's renegotiation time. Like, you got to start letting these niggas think you could leave, no matter how much they're lining your pockets. Keep in mind, from my knowledge, we're not talking about Taylor Swift. We're talking within hip-hop. There is a limited amount of people that's ever received over a 9-figure deal, which would be $100 million. Drake's deal was $400 million. So how does shit go left? What's been going on? I think they've had like an interesting relationship that we just haven't explored, but we never needed to explore. Drake's relationship with the label has always been, and again, this is why, when I pried into like, why does Taylor do 2 million? Drake, even if Drake isn't as popular as Taylor, he's half as popular. He should be doing $1 million every time. Well, Taylor moves like this. Drake hits up his label 2 weeks before the album drops and turns it in. Or turns it in the same week. He doesn't use any marketing from them. He just, I'm Drake. I'm dropping. Which obviously does work, but if you want to see those quote-unquote pop star numbers that he could get, like the milli per week, you kind of need to work with them to a certain extent. A lot of drama has been happening behind the scenes. Some I'm not going to comment on, but I will be bringing up, obviously there's a lawsuit that got filed today. We'll be getting into that. It's the main reason I went live on Twitter. We're going to be reading through that directly, and that kind of exposes a little bit of the drama that's been going on, okay? Again, to give you a very brief history of the whole thing with Drake and his label, Drake was signed through Aspire Music Group that was owned by Lil Wayne's manager, Cortez Bryant. He was introduced by Jazz Prince. They fought over that, his percentage for years, and Jay Prince stepped in with a couple courtesy calls, this and third. But he signed to Young Money, and, I've always told y'all, most rappers, their name, like Aubrey Drake Graham, isn't on a contract necessarily with Universal Music Group. It's subsidiary labels and companies that own his rights that are on these things because people do get, this is music business. It's almost like a Ponzi scheme. Okay. So what ends up happening is that Wayne sues Birdman $51 million. That's what he said he claimed he was owed. Birdman said, he was buying gold toilets, putting gold stars in his head, doing all the type of shit with the money. He basically said, yo, Playboy, I owe you some bread, but not 51. They start beefing. Universal basically takes over everybody on Young Money. Nicki, Drake moved to Republic. It was already being funneled through Republic already, even though it was Cash Money. Cash Money, I think they still might have imprint, like their imprint might show on the shit, but it's just going through Republic because Universal paid the bill. They paid Wayne, and they settled that. And they got a couple more albums from Wayne and this and third. Anyway, the point is this. So that's the overall aspect. Then you get to Drake aspect. Drake, first and foremost, and this is just how music business works, your shittiest deal is the first deal you get in, right? As you get more and more leverage, you get into better deals. Like, for example, I don't know this as a fact, but I'd probably bet $100,000 that Drake initially Drake owned none of his first album. So thank me later, probably didn't. Now, if you watch as the time went by, especially when he got up to Scorpion, which is now 2018, you would see, and beginning from then, Drake, who did a couple addendums to his original contract, eventually then became in this almost hybrid thing where for future and subsequent projects, he was going to own part of his masters and this and third. Also, you kept seeing OVO sound on his future releases. Why? Because Universal didn't just own all his music outright, right? I also, I've said this before, which people were confused by. I said, listen, because people were like, well, let's go to the Kendrick beef and Drake. They're like, well, why the fuck would Drake or Universal would never want anyone to get at Drake because that's their cash cow? Well, not really. Drake, the majority of their interest in Drake as an entity is the first half of his career when they own everything, or they did. I don't know. They probably have negotiated where he's gaining ownership a little bit more of the back catalog with him dropping more stuff. Kind of Taylor Swift-esque, but she's on some other shit. Hopefully you guys are keeping up. I'm trying to move fast here because we got contracts to read. But what ends up happening is that the more as time goes on, they're paying a higher premium for Drake and getting less in terms of percentage-wise as they would have gotten initially. But here's a great thing, which I've told everyone when it comes to streaming. This is why artists put out more music these days, and labels actually encourage them to put out more music. And by the way, I had some random argument back and forth with some idiot on Twitter who I was saying that the reason why not only do I think bundles should count, but we should look at the way we look at first week sales, because these labels, they don't care about most of these artists if they are flopping, right? If they have a catalog, right? When Drake drops a new song or a new album, Take Care is going to be in the top 20. When Kendrick drops a new song or album, Good Kid, Mad City is going to be in the top 20. So they're basically just getting their pockets greased by doing nothing as long as you put out new music. So as you become more and more free, so to speak, the projects that you did solely for them, or they pretty much own the majority of that interest and profit, that is constantly getting refreshed every time you keep producing well, right? So hopefully you guys understood that, but basically that's me saying, yeah, Drake might have got $400 million, but what their takeaway would be from the profit margin on whatever they're doing with Drake and the current projects are much less in percentage than what they're getting off the old shit. One Dance has been in like the top 100 stream songs daily on Spotify for God knows how many days. You know what I mean? Just globally. And that's one of the things where if you own that song, right, your pocket is greased. You're good. So, yeah, you might want to just keep Drake under the fold. You'll give him whatever money that he doesn't leave. But are you that much invested in what he in continuing his success, given the fact that you own the entire back catalog. You just wanted to keep put out music. Anyway, hopefully you guys understood that. We are gonna get into a couple of things. Anyway, so yeah, Kendrick is putting out, and I guess I went on a tangent like I normally did or normally do. So Kendrick's putting out these vinyls, right, for GNX. The only thing that's interesting to me is that it's gonna ship March 1st. So the way how vinyl works, the shipping counts the week that you sell, that it ships. So if they can't prove to Billboard they shipped what the customer bought, they can't count it, or Luminate won't count it, right? Now, let's do some math here. I particularly don't believe this is the last project Kendrick is dropping. I think Kendrick dropped this really to pay off a lot of them West Coast niggas who probably been on his back like, yo, bro, I was at the pop out crip walking, nigga. What's good? Okay. The fact that it's dropping March 1st, I believe also there's something else going to be dropping then. I don't know if it's a deluxe. I don't know if somehow they could combine it into something else. But I see, and if I'm thinking Kendrick is as shrewd as I know he is, March 1st or the week leading up to that, by the way, this is 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, right? So remember, no, not 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, right? Super Bowl happens. If he announces, yo, end of the month, I'm dropping whatever, it somehow collides and combines with this, right? It could, remember, this album that Kendrick dropped is only 12 songs. It's actually, let's look at the runtime. How many songs on GNX? 12 songs, 44 minutes. That's a very short time for an album. Usually they say about 38. That's below that. That's an LP. No, that's an EP. So he gave 12 songs, but it's barely over the time you would expect for an LP. Seems kind of abridged. If you ask me, that vinyl that people finna run up and trust, there are going to be a shit ton of people buying, is going to include not only these songs, but it will include additional music that I believe he's going to announce and drop on that week around March 1st or the week before or the week after. Clip that. Maybe I'm right. And by the way, this is just me. There's no advanced knowledge. This is me just looking at the time, and I'm like, fucking interesting. 12 songs. Okay. You dropped a really short project. You put the vinyl shit out, and it's going to be released 12 months later. No, not 12 months. I mean, on March 1st, or shipped March 1st, ironically 2 or 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks after the Super Bowl. Something is up. Okay. Keep that in mind. We will see. All right. And by the way, I think Kendrick has an amazing plan, and we will see how that turns into. We'll get into some more analysis of what's going on with GNX. Is there another way to say it, or is it just GNX, or is it Jinx? I think it's GNX, right? Cool. A lot more people are reacting to it. We will get to all of those things, but we should immediately get to. And by the way, real quick, let me just do make sure everybody's good. Is everybody good? Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure everybody is online. I didn't turn on the Academy channel? Like an idiot, huh? Okay, the Academy channel is on now. Am I tripping? All right, just give me a second. I'm sorry if I didn't have some of these things on before. Okay, good. All right, so yes, we'll get into a little bit more about Kendrick's album, what it's on pace to do. Again, there's a number floating around saying around 240. I think it's going to be 350. It could even be closer to 400. his numbers are going crazy though. I want to be very honest with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he hit 400. I'd be very surprised if he hits beyond that. So I know everyone's like really entrenched or cares about this Drake and Kendrick, who's more lit. Drake's last project, I believe, did like 404 or 405. People are wondering, will Kendrick, with, as I keep saying, all the Infinity Stones do more? I think he'll do pretty close. It's a very short project, and I'll give him some credit too. His project has less songs than Drake's. He announced it out the blue, dropped 12 hours later than Drake, or 12, about 12 hours, 12 to 15 hours later than Drake. And yeah, so I'll be fair with that. But some people be like, no, he's supposed to someone. Whatever, you guys could argue over that. We will see, okay? Also, here's the thing. 44 minutes of runtime. Let's see. How long was Good Kid, Mad City? Yeah, that album was 68 minutes of runtime. How long was TPAB? 78 minutes. Okay, how long was Damn? 54. Okay, so that was previously the shortest one, 54, right? But wasn't there a deluxe for Damn? Unless I'm tripping. Kendrick Lamar Damn Deluxe. I thought there was a deluxe, or did it come with the there's a collector's edition. I think that was a vinyl, right? Okay, and then Kendrick Lamar. What about the subsequent project? That would be Mr. Morale runtime. I just want to see the runtime. 78 minutes. So yeah, him dropping a 44-minute project when normally he gives about 30 or at least 20 to 25 more minutes, which if we that's 8 more songs. Usually he drops about 8 more songs. So keep that in mind. This vinyl timing, I do think that's going to be a thing. Okay. All right, chat. Do y'all want to get into it now, or should we, we could chill for a little bit? Like do like a little litmus test, see how y'all feeling. By the way, we booming right now. We're almost at 200,000, I think, views. I don't think it's viewers on Twitter. We're at 3,000 on Twitch. Rumble kicking up like 4 or 5. Well, how much does Rumble have? I don't even know. Oh, 4,000. And we're at 14,000 on King Academics. All right. Okay, let's get to this lawsuit.